a planet's development is very much in alignment with a type of cyclical or seasonal energy. Your galactic cycle is approximately 26,000 years. Half of that time, or 13,000 years, again, this is a metaphor, but you are in the seasons of spring and summer. Those are the times of great advancement. It's the times when consciousness grows, and there is a sense of life and blooming and evolution. And then the other part of the cycle, another 13,000 years, could be likened to autumn and winter, where evolution slows down and maybe appears to go to sleep. And instead of an energy of growth and unity, sometimes there is an energy of polarity or division. Because in those parts of the cycle, consciousness really forgets who it is. It forgets it is part of the one, or it is the one. As mankind developed, we could start to see these cycles playing out in your world. And our contacts would be well-timed for the season that you were experiencing and your receptivity. 13,000 years ago was the end of summer, and it began the cycle of fall or autumn and then into winter. Right before, or right at the end, let's say, of the summer cycle, there was a lot of activity with extraterrestrials on your world. We were here to assist you as you were about to enter the sleep cycle. There was a lot of training of what you've come to call priests and priestesses. And one of the reasons for that was to plant seeds that would be dormant within you during the winter cycle, but that could sprout as soon as spring arrives. Our contacts at that time were very different than the prehistoric time, because there were direct relationships with you. We were kind of seen as cosmic parents in a way. And what do parents do but help prepare you for life's milestones? And then the autumn and the winter began. The last 13,000 years of your world was, let's say, the most intense part of a planet's cycle. The consciousness frequency is what we would call third density, which means it's the most separated from source. And the amnesia about who you are is the strongest. So as a civilization begins falling asleep, it forgets its connections with everything. All that we've talked about before with prehistoric man and the connections with the earth and the seasons and the nature and the cosmos begins to be forgotten. Even though we say forgotten, it's still dormant in there. But the distraction becomes survival. And you can see that in the last 13,000 years of your planet, how that is so. When you enter this part of a cycle of deep separation, not only are you experiencing polarity, but you're experiencing what we could call disconnection, meaning that you are disconnected from your true nature as part of the one, and no longer do you see yourself as an extension of the earth. In a sense, it feels like being very, very alone with no connections and no support. Now, 13,000 years later, you are at the opposite part of the cycle. Winter is finished and spring is beginning. That means that the process of reawakening into who you really are has begun. But it's not maybe as easy or as simple as it sounds. The best analogy we can give you is if you are asleep and you fall asleep on your arm and it is numb or tingly. You have to move it and give it time to fully come back. So this period right now is that period of time where your asleep arm, so to speak, is trying to awaken. And you're trying to relearn your connections. These are the connections that also went to sleep, and they caused you to feel that sense of disconnection. Now, of course, those connections you've forgotten about have to do with your connections to the stars. And you know through work like this channeling and the work that many others are doing in your world, that you're starting to remember all of that. But there's still a road to go, let's say. Part of this has to do with remembering the connection to the earth, so that you can once again feel yourself as an extension of the mother. Because in order to embrace the cosmos, one also has to embrace the earth as well. The more you do to reground yourself, to reconnect and channel the energy of the earth through you, the more your consciousness evolves. When you've had so many thousands of years with the disconnection, it may be confusing about how to reconnect. And of course, there are many things you can do that you already know, such as going out and being in nature, etc. And honoring nature with the importance and the priority that you honor yourself. But also there are other ways that you can work with it energetically. There's another deeper meaning to the idea of connecting with the earth. It has to do with how so many humans at this time have not allowed themselves to accept themselves as humans. Either they just don't think about it, or they try to deny their humanity and go to the stars as fast as possible. In that case, then, there has been a resistance to full physical incarnation. We know that might sound a little strange. Even in your religions, sometimes there is the belief that you have to go beyond the physical, the earth, that you have to reach for the divine. But in that case, that's lopsided. It's not balanced. There has to be the embracing of the physical and the spiritual, or the earth and the cosmos together. Part of the idea of full incarnation also means remembering how to be present in the moment fully with everything that is happening, including that which is painful. And that is where the resistance to full incarnation comes in. Pain is part of full incarnation, and no one wants to experience pain. So the idea is we'll resist it, distract yourself. And then what happens is that you never fully incarnate in the way your soul intends. That way of being could be sustained in third density. But now that you're moving into fourth density, it cannot be sustained, because the fourth density energy is based on integration. Therefore, one of the big leaps in evolution that will come for you as you move into fourth density will be when you start to allow your pain and your wounds, moving through them, healing them, and no longer letting them be dictating your reality, let's say. Some of you, many of you probably watching, know that there is a teaching that we've begun giving together with Hamon in the last few years called School of the Nine Serpents. And it's made up of 9 different schools focusing on different aspects of the awakening and integration process. And one of those schools is the school that deals with helping you to fully accept and embrace your human incarnation. It's school number 5, and it utilizes the physical senses as a gateway to connect with your experience and train yourself to root yourself in the present moment. Why do we give this now? Because you're in that threshold as you're entering fourth density. And as we said, as you enter fourth density, you cannot operate in the same way as you did in third. So your relationship with your physicality and your incarnation has to change. And you can use the body's senses as gateways to help you with this process.